A simple but useful thing you can do during your QC, just to be able to see a little bit more in the tables, is to make the tables full screen. So you might have noticed there's this little icon to the right hand side. If I hover over it, it's telling me it's going to go into full screen view. Now, why is that useful? Well, you can see here we have 8 items, and then there's a 9th item off the bottom here. So it's kind of a pain to be scrolling up and down just to view that last item. If I enter full screen mode, you can see all of those 9 items and more potentially are available on this screen. We're not having to scroll up and down now. All we need to worry about is the side scrolling. So we can scroll to the right, scroll to the left to see all of the columns that are available. But we no longer need to scroll up and down in this case, just because we have a bit more height to play with. Now you can do all of the usual things within this full screen view. So for example, if I wanted to, let's say, pin this column to the left, we can go ahead and do that. And this column is going to stay fixed, much like the freeze function on Excel, and we can scroll around like so. Same goes for things like sorting, grouping, and so on. If you haven't checked those features out, please go ahead and check out those videos. But if I was to exit the full screen view at this point, then what's pretty neat is that those things we've asked on the table, for example, the pinned column for sample ID in this case, remain in place. So we're not having to reapply that pinned column. It's just as it was when we were in the full screen view. So the full screen view is a great way to see all of your information quite easily. Also apply any of those data manipulations that you want to add on. And then if you need to go back to this view, maybe to look at another section, then those views that you've applied will still be in place, which is pretty neat. Another thing I just want to mention is this full screen view will be available on any section where there are multiple items like this one. So if I open up this next one, which has multiple items, even though there's no use in this case to go into full screen view because there's just one item, it is there, it is available as an option. However, on another section, for example, the scope of work and general info, well, there are no multiple items here, in which case we just don't have that option. It doesn't make sense. So it's going to be added automatically to any of these sections where you see a table. So I would recommend using this full screen view anytime where you have a table with lots of inspection items, just to prevent that need to scroll up and down so much.